positions, Winston just doesn't get to see play. But his mobility actually gives the USA another option for, you know, putting pressure on the back line instead of just the enemy tanks. So, you know, we've been theory crafting about it in the break. It's super interesting. You know, what about Hog, Junkrat, Orisa? Is an answer there, perhaps?
Doomfist. They didn't run Doomfist in that map.
They didn't. They didn't. They did try and match the Sombra usage, but...
And then they played a Brigitte.
They did.
Probably to try and prevent, you know, the dive from Muma into the backline. But something kind of similar. Wrecking Ball, Winston, Diva on defense. We saw Team USA do this earlier in the tournament. I believe it was to Austria. They kind of spawn killed them. And when I say kind of spawn killed them, they were in front of their spawn doors swinging around.
It was, I believe, by definition, spawn killing them.
I believe I tweeted after that match was super unclose.
Yeah. That is also, that would be correct by definition. On defense here, I mean, yeah, we know the Wrecking Ball on defense here is not the first time we've seen it. Plopping on in there, getting big knockups, getting that disruption is a great way to go. Both teams are going to be looking to get their Sombras in positions to harass, to harangue, and to otherwise limit the freedom of enemy backlines.
Canada will have a good idea of what they're running now. Agility gets caught out. They've trapped them in the corner here. XQC does get Moth though, so maybe if they're able to reset here quite early, Canada, you can come back with another push.
US has to stagger out Canada now to buy themselves enough time for Moth to return. Fortunately, obviously, Lucio very mobile. Moth's just spawned up, so he will probably get there in time. Top 4 damage dealers, Team Canada players. That could also, it also says a little bit about how much health the enemy team has as well. Still worth keeping in mind. Rourke is close to that nano boost here. Moth is back with the rest of his team. It's a 6v6 once more.
They go over to the Brigitte here instead of Genji, so we'll see how long they switch on this. So Muma probably wanted to jump up onto the high ground. Hit that little lip there. But he's now waiting for the engage.
Yeah, I mean, he gets himself an nano boost here as well, so he's like, can I force ultimates here? Can I force cooldowns out? Can I lay the path for the rest of my team to get here? Getting hacked that late is kind of bad for him because he can't use Primal Rage, but it don't matter because there's no one left. Even Moth got in there. The boop on agilities. And suffice to say that a message has been delivered.
So now you still hold on to the Primal Rage, self-destruct. The minefield, the Wrecking Ball, right? You can deny a whole area. So you see Hydration making the calls there. It's behind enemy lines. This team communicating everything there. It's going to be the mines coming down.
Sinatra, I like that he used the mines at the apex of his flight mat because they drop down as a cone. The higher up you drop them, the further apart they spread when they hit the ground. Note getting desuited there. Should really be enough to get the job done. Muma might not actually get out safely. You can see that, yeah, Space is trying to protect and keep him alive. He even had Primal Rage there, but didn't really feel like he needed to use it.
It's, well, Canada, smart plays from a few of their players actually just ran right back into the spawn, got the healing from being back in the spawn, and then came back out. Big EMP here for Surefour.
Now Surefour gets onto the back line. Moth and Raucus most crucially getting hacked up there. XQC now following up himself at Space is in deep trouble. Can't quite get away to his mech. And he will remove the Diva entirely. Hydration, the next one to fall. The USA just had a team tactical crouch on XQC in the previous fight. And he's bringing that revenge back. Gonna be a drop in for Sinatra now. Muma has the Primal Rage. He gets the translocator. That presence of mind to make sure that Surefour couldn't get back out. And now they can really try and wipe the floor with Canada. But will that be the case? Crimzo returns fire on Raucus and XQC fights yet another one. Supports struggling for the US. And Agility's now swinging that flail. Canada will get point A.
I mean, XQC there on the first point. 6 of Canada's 9 final blows there. Doing a nice job just jumping onto these players. I think what Team USA has done is made it frustrating for him to play, you know, that aggressive style of play, which that's how he plays the best as a player. Now he's got Primal Rage moving in. Surefour in position. He does get a hack on a Moth here, so not going to be able to speed to the rest of the team.
I like the positioning from XQC though. He actually just sort of jumped midway between the two halves of the USA to try and split them up a little bit, and it's worked. Look who's sitting in the moat here. He's going to force the translocation from Hydration, who has that EMP. He's going to want to use it. Look how split the US are. Canada just getting right in between them now. The divide and conquer approach seems to be working. Big charge, that's a connection from Muma. He picks up agilities on the way through, but the Magic School Bus probably doesn't have much fuel left in it now. No, it does not.
It's a good offense there from Canada. They were stopped early, but they're able to come back in this one as And they take point A, and then on their first real attempt to take point B, they're able to take the point. Hell of a charge there from Moom out of the spawn on agility. It's like, probably didn't intend to get him, but
I mean, in
halfway across the map.
In stall scenarios, you know, getting it an insta-pick or like 100-0, bursting an opponent down is the only way you can sort of really get back into the fight. You need to obviously out-trade in damage in those
I mean, that's why you see Doomfist all the time in those light scenarios where you want to be able to just get back onto the point, get those one-shot kills. And that's what he's the best at. So what does Canada do on defense? I think a lot of that is kind of predicated about what they expect Team USA to run on offense. One thing they probably won't expect is Team USA to run like a Widowmaker. None of the players on their team really, you know, Widowmaker players, unless you count Space's performance from the All-Star game.
Raucous with the occasion.
Raucous could play. I mean, yeah, we have seen Raucous play like Widowmaker, 76, Hog in the past. So I guess you can't count that out. But if I was Canada, I would not be expecting any type of Widowmaker play here. I'm expecting a really. If I was Canada, I'd be expecting either triple tank or some variation of like a dive with the Sombra, whether it be Trace or Genji Doomfist.
Attackers incoming.
And you'd be right by the looks of things. Still, I mean, you can see Canada, I mean, rolling out with this Brigitte here in a 2-2-2 composition, right? Actually, no, 3 support still, just a 1 DPS. So but they bring the Brigitte at the outset here, so they're kind of definitely expecting to be dived or to need that extra CC peel for their backline. Canada now setting up a very respectable time, 4 minutes and 10 seconds after a very slow start. Good snowball, they managed to exploit a weakness that the USA demonstrated. Now, it's time for the United States to fire back. Moth knows someone's behind, interrupts the hack, forces Short4 to get out.
Yeah, and you see you can't hack that health pack before the round starts, so to get the better advantage, you translocate back, then hack it instead of doing it the other way around. As XQC's moved into the choke. They actually have hydration. Ooh, almost.
Very
there. He did get stunned by agility. She's not able to put down enough damage.
Yeah, Bunny even threw a biting grenade into the mix. It was pretty close. Hydration now is going to come in for the right-hand side. Bunny doesn't quite connect that sleep dart. Trying to block the door with XQC to protect both these supports, but now they need to transition to the point. Short4's able to get away with the translocator for the time being, and Muma's down. Canada doing a great job of collapsing on their own backline, protecting them, and now the tanks have a chance to come forward. Sinatra hits the wall as he tries to dash out, but he will get to safety.
That was a really nice play from Agility's and note there. Short4 actually gets hacked by hydration, so can't use his translocator, can't stealth. Agilities gives over the armor pack, heals him up again, and note there to soak up some of the damage. And Muma wanted that kill so bad, dove all the way into the back. Agilities ends up helping Short4 take him out.
2 minutes 45 left. Comes the nano boost now. Sinatra. Where's the Dragon Blade going to go here? The USA are a little split. Their tanks are kind of on the point, or a couple of their players are on the point. Muma's like, guys, where are you? He was playing on the high ground above Agilities there.
Yeah.
But the rest of his team got caught inside the door.
Hydration out of stealth was trying to draw people back to the point, but they just had Agilities just sit like on the opposite corner of the point away from them. They just had to stare down. I mean, Hydration doesn't want to go in and try and kill the Brigitte. He's going to get stunned, killed right away, so they're able to get nothing out of that.
Short4 holding his nerve. He actually hasn't translocated out yet. He goes for the EMP. Now the USA at least have a decent chance to disengage, but they were still half a step inside Canada's base, so they lost 2 plays. 3, in fact, as XQC chases.
And it actually could have been worse for Team USA. Canada could have used that self-destruct in the choke, but Node actually gets hacked by hydration right before. So the Agilities using Rally here, typing everybody out on armor. It's a huge fight for Team USA, Mitch. They have a ton of good ultimates to combo here. They use a lot of these and don't win it. They could be looking at a first point hold.
Is nano boost? Yeah, likely a Simeon recipient. Moving out. Getting himself up there. Sinatra. He's the one, in fact. Doesn't opt to go for the Dragon Blade here. There's not any really options presenting themselves right now, but he's hoping to try and make use of this. But look at Canada. Perfect disengagement back to the high ground. Playing close together. Sinatra's not going to get much done. He needs some backup, but there's the peel right on time in space. Now it's time for the Dragon Blade to force the Transcendence. At the very least, Sinatra realizes discretion would have been the better part of valor there. Forcing the Zen ultimate is good, but the USA have made no further progress on this point.
Oh, it was a big-time play from Bonnie. So they send Muma into the back line, and he uses the Primal Rage, gets up to the high ground, and Bonnie actually hits a sleep dart. And then even better, Note flies up with D.Va, just drops the self-destruct right next to a sleeping Muma, and they pick up the kill that way. So really heads-up play from those two players on Canada. Hydration now will play Doomfist. You're going to have Sinatra play Brigitte. So you put away the Sombra here for Team USA.
I feel like this is the no messing sort of setup here. Maybe a bit of respect from the USA now. They realize the need to try and capture the point. Banny, safe and sound in the backside, and Sinatra, the complete opposite after the micro rockets come thudding into him. XQC will be the doorman here. And yes, Hydration can get a knockback, but XQC, if he needs it, he's got the Primal Rage. Canada looking so comfortable, and there's 12 seconds left in the round. The US barely have time to amass 6 players before this round will be over.
EMP and Primal Rage available as well. XQC does get slept on the bridge. He gets woken up. That's the big EMP that comes in from Surefour.
Oh, unbelievable! 3-man self-destruct, and now the USA are going to push on further. That's XQC down. Note's going to get de-suited here, and somehow, someway, Note comes up with the answer. He bails his team out. The Canadian Houdini. There was space. Creating some. I wonder if Houdini was American. Either way.
You'll have Team USA.
I got excited.
You'll have Team USA take the point here. So XQC still a Primal Rage. Muma has his now, though. The Hydration picks up one, and Muma gets on the point. You're going to be able to use the Primal Rage. Sinatra getting the nano boost. Team USA trying to set a good time of their own.
They're going to try and roll it out here. Sinatra hits that shield bash. Backing away on the point here. Surefour and XQC are on the left. Note Banny Crimzo on the right. So they are going to have to try and sandwich the USA somehow. Meteor Strike. This can close off one avenue of approach, but Crimzo definitely gets out of the way. Does not want to be destroyed in one hit on Hydration. Yeah, looks like they might be a little bit out of gas at this stage. Hydration comes up with very little.
And it was Surefour who actually hacked 2 players during that, and then XQC using Primal Rage, knocking players back constantly. That allowed them to stabilize. They do give up a tick, though. Space with another self-destruct. Don't want to see something like what just happened, man.
I got so excited I got him mixed up with his opponent. That's just how intense it was. I mean, the timing couldn't have been any better. They needed it there. He's got another, mate. You're right. Where does this go? No Sombra to set up anything with an EMP on the side of the USA. Canada, however, do have that. And the USA have to back out straight away.
And playing into the Sombra on defense is so difficult. It's, XQC returning the favor.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Keeping the favor going is
Look, it's a gift that keeps on giving.
no, Sombra, even when no, she wasn't as strong as she is right now in the meta, was still really strong here on point B on Anubis. Makes it very difficult for teams to come in. Because when you want to play on the point, you're kind of forced to play in range of getting no 6-person EMP, where you can't really play outside of it.
Here comes the push again for the USA. 2 minutes left in the round. Banny forced to back out real quick. Gets the sleep on towards Muma. But he gets a Primal Rage. Yes, someone kind of messed up the plan there. And now Muma can go back to causing problems for the back line of Canada. And Geordie's drops into the backside elsewhere on the point. You've actually found Raucus there. Insta-gives him. That's exactly what Canada are looking for now. The 1-for-1 is there. Geordie's gets whip-shotted. And Hydration drops down. Doesn't quite know where to put himself, though. He's being pursued by Note. Note has to be careful. He could have got booped up against the wall in that spot. But now Note is behind enemy lines. The aggression from this D.Va. And the USA, once again, have to back out.
And I know it's the second time they've nano boosted Crimzo during one of these fights. And I don't know if it's because they know a bunch of ultimates are coming through and they want to keep him alive with the damage reduction through all of it, or if Bonnie's just missing the target a little bit. But it does work out. You do keep your Zen alive. Gets closer and closer towards that Transcendence. Transcendence, EMP, and self-destruct for this next fight, as not a lot of time left for Team USA, only a minute to go.
Dildy's just trying to desperately get that easy pick to give the Canadian team a little bit of room to start the fight off here, but it's actually Sinatra going down fast! This time it's Notes! Can't get that one wrong, it's written on the kill feed. Once again, the USA get booted out.
And that's the EMP self-destruct. They've been doing that all tournament long, not surprising there. See how Team USA makes some changes potentially, try and get towards the end here, where, to be honest, with only 30 seconds left, you're about 70% sound barrier and nano. You don't switch off of that. You have Rally, you're not switching off of this. It's really on hydration to get these picks.
The outplay on Movement was so real. First, he gets booped away from his intended target on the high ground, then put to sleep. But Sinatra and Raucus both going down once again. The USA are bleeding supports and therefore bleeding their own health. Agility just holds on. Space in deep trouble. You need love to just drag this one out. Make it real painful for the US. As Team Canada look to make their way back into the series, and now it's just overtime. Hydration got bionated, and the rest of the team won't get there. Yes. Oh, yes.
We got
This is what we came for. And now we're getting a show.
But you know, Doomfist can be such a high-risk, high-reward hero. That time for Team USA doesn't work out. Hydration has one final blow the entire Temple of Anubis. 13 limbs, 11 deaths, and with Doomfist, you expect to see a lot of final blows because you're getting in there and you're just getting those potentially one-shot kills, or even have a high number of eliminations, right? Because you're using the Seismic Slam, hitting a bunch of players, teammates are finishing them off. Didn't really get a ton of value out of the Doomfist, especially if you're going to run triple support with Doomfist as that solo DPS. You need to get some value.
Yeah, let's discuss that. Why did we see the US sort of make a switch to that particular composition? Was it that what we're trying to do is not working and this is more about default, or why do we see that Doomfist make an appearance?
Sombra has so much control over the map when you get to point B on Anubis from the defensive side, because you can get to all those health packs relatively easily, so you can't take advantage of those on the offense unless you win a fight and then you wait it out and you rehack them. But that at that point, you probably have taken the point if you're in that side of the map for that long. So you don't really get a ton of value out of the Sombra there. At that point, you're just trying to get picks early. So you have the Brigitte stun potentially killing the Sombra coming on the flank, the Brigitte stun against the Doomfist that Agilities was playing, and then your own Doomfist to potentially jump onto the point with Muma and, he get a one-shot. But a lot of the times, they were not able to get that. Also, credit to Bonnie and Crimzo. A lot of times, Muma was able to get into that back corner.
And they just stopped him in his tracks.
Put a lot of good pressure on those guys, able to stay alive on through it.
Yeah, we saw that in that last play. Even Note was there. You see Muma jumps in, Note intercepts with that Diva boop, knocks him down, and then he just slept immediately. He was nano boosted at that point as well. Rialto is where we get our fourth map of this series, and it may well not be the last, ladies and gentlemen. The Canadian crew have a chance to break back into this series.
Rialto is a map that both of these teams probably don't have a ton of run on outside of your general ladder games at home, right?
How
it's
interesting
not Overwatch League.
15 maps in the pool, which is a lot. It's a huge amount for players to prepare for, and they picked the newest map.
Well, look, I mean, you have some contender players on both rosters. Zachary for Team USA, not in right now. Mangachu, Crimzo for Canada, so they've seen this map at competitive play. Maybe bring a little bit of a strategic advantage to their teams, get a few woos in the crowd. It's Canada, this has pretty much been their standard. If this doesn't work, Agility switches over to Doomfist or Pharah, and that's kind of been what they're rolling with. Maybe a little bit of Zarya. Team USA, they've been kind of all over the place, but they decide to run. You could run Wrecking Ball as like a main tank here if you would like. A lot of nice areas where he can grapple, go high off the high ground, come down with some big pile drivers.
Do we see Sinatra Ryan again on this map?
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say we don't. I don't think you'll see that here.
Let's see what the Tracer offers the USA then. Because, I mean, Sinatra does have to play that into an Agility's Brigitte here. There's definitely risk associated with that pick. Hydration, I mean, we talked about this map before. This map definitely gives some really nice sight lines to Pharah. You can get shots, and then you can stay quite safe because the buildings obviously themselves are quite high. Just duck around corners, stay safe. And Canada playing real passive. They're playing just on the left side here. As Hydration rounds the corner, you'll see the Diva peek out. That's where they're not exposing themselves to really any poke damage at all, except leaving Fanny out in the open to try and pressure Hydration.
It's interesting. So you have Bonnie playing in the courtyard, Crimzo playing on the high ground, and then Agilities is just standing like in between Crimzo and Bonnie, just flailing, potentially seeing if there's like a Sombra coming through, just trying to spot check there.
And Bonnie as well, just getting dart after dart into Hydration, but he's been pocketed for much of this time with healing. Obviously, Moth keeping him healed up as the Mercy in Canada. Token resistance, if at all. Losing XQC forces them to pretty much pull out of this fight entirely. Maybe they'll get some resistance right here before they get the checkpoint. But that's about it.
This also forces Canada into some weird switches. We can talk about that in a second. But you have Sinatra falling. They're going to take advantage of Agilities, who's pushing up a little bit too deep. Hydration has gone completely unchecked here. XQC getting that nano boost, got to come up big.
And he does. He gets Moth to start the fight. That may even be enough in and of itself, but he ducks back to the payload and the rest of his team just to help out. And honestly, that fight starts off badly for the US when Sinatra gets hacked on the high ground and drops down directly into a Brigitte shield bash.
But here's what I think USA can do by running this far, and if the Pharah makes an impact. Who plays hit scan on the side of Canada? You know, agilities, we don't really see him play McCree, 76 or Widow.
No.
You have to move off of Sombra at that point, which Surefour has been so good on Sombra.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Surefour play some McCree.
Which he'd have to be, but then you don't have, you know, the benefits of having all the scouting with the Sombra and playing around EMPs and whatnot, which is really how you've kind of constructed this team, or the way it looks like throughout the tournament. So,
and you're playing around this EMP. This is how, if you want agilities to really charge quick ultimates, EMP is the way to start the fight. Nice Discord orb there on Movement. That shut him down awfully quick. Every support ability got thrown at the Monkey Man, and he's down. Sinatra eats a big shuriken from agilities, and keep an eye on that ultimate bar. He gets closer to that Dragon Blade, which will undoubtedly be important. Oh, it's troubled city for Moth right now. There's really no way he was going to get away from that. Yes. Look at him. He's talking to him. Moth can't hear you, Felix, but we see it.
So now do you want to stay on this far? I mean, I think this is what it comes to, right? Sinatra will play Brigitte here, so now you're going to put all your eggs in this basket of Hydration being able to put down enough damage. Right now, 25% of all Team USA's damage here. Such laying rockets on the flank.
These agilities. Yeah, 80% to G-Blade after one fight. Really nice. That's getting that Genji into a relevant position very quickly. And again, it's scary for Raucus, or for Moth. Here it is, the Dragon Blade going in now. It's going to be agilities finds two already, both supports! That's value! Just the Brigitte left, ready to worry about, and to be honest, he'd rather avoid her anyway. Transcendence brought forward as well by Crimzo, just to assist a little bit. They lost XQC early in the fight, but they make up some ground at least with the Genji. Still haven't got that checkpoint yet, man. That's the most important part. USA are still throwing themselves at this one, but Hydration gets shut down midway through his barrage and gets no result for the use of the ultimate. Agilities again, step back about halfway to another blade once more. Muma just getting chunked away and hacked. He can only walk away now, and he's definitely going to drop.
Yeah, and XQC using his own Primal Rage. Self-destruct up in the air for space. He only gets one with it. Note's going to drop his right by the payload.
1 for 1. Note does get a D-Mech. That's so important. Surefour does get a hack there on the low ground. I believe it was Sinatra. And Space is D-Mech. A chance for Canada to come back here, and the US only have 10 seconds to get that checkpoint. Trying to maintain some presence here, but it looks like, yes, the Canadians may have run out of gas until XQC return. Big EMP used there from Surefour. Going to make it hard for the US team to push up here. Raucus comes back on the Soldier 76 to try and make a difference, and he hits a big Helix rocket. That might be the change they're looking for. Crimzo on the bridge. He's low. Trying to throw himself off, but he didn't have enough time, and they get that checkpoint. United States just hanging in there.
Not pretty there, as you can see from Raucus's POV playing the Ana. See how difficult it is to deal with Primal Rage.
That's how XQC died.
Sleep dart there.
How did he... Okay. You sometimes you ask yourself with sleep darts, it's like, are they trying to hit that? I'll give Shane the benefit of the doubt. That was filthy.
So can they contain agilities on Doomfist here? I'd look to see that as we go through this next phase of the map here.
Well, that might answer your question. He gets a little bit too close for comfort there, and now Movement being slipped. I tell you what, Bunny and Raucus, teammates trying to outmatch each other on the same hero currently. And now Movement really just trying to sow some discord. Oh, Bunny, I guess he forgot his floaties this time around. And the US are building some momentum here, will continue to advance.
I mean, you don't mind this if you're Canada. They go through a Primal Rage and a rally. Surefour goes in deep. He doesn't even translocate out, probably trying to get some EMP charges. You will have Hydration's EMP here. Could be massive.
EMP, Crimzo just disintegrates. Space follows up. Nice self-destruct there to ensure that the Ana is removed. And Surefour was always going to leave eventually. Hydration's backing up to the payload here. XQC could be in trouble. He'll get hacked, but he can still do a lot.
Canada can still fight this. Note there, too, with the self-destruct. And Canada going to pick up some kills in the back line. They're able to keep Crimzo alive long enough that he'll be able to use the Transcendence and follow up XQC.
Now, nothing from that self-destruct there. Remuma is put to sleep. Now, Agility returns to the fray. And, well, USA preemptively back up. They say, no, after losing our front line like that, we know we can't hang around. 43 seconds remain. The payload is rather close to that checkpoint. So one more fight for the US would have given it to them, but what are they working with here, Matt?
Yeah,
sound barrier?
But the sound barrier's got to come out before this EMP. You can't have that support go to waste here if you're USA, because really the only thing you got to work with right now.
Is this the end of the line for the United States? Perhaps not. Sinatra opens up with an early pick on Agilities, who died with his Meteor Strike. But here's the EMP that Canada were looking for. Shawford gets it onto at least 4 players. Space is D-Mech. Moth crucially wasn't able to use his sound barrier, but now he can. It's going to be a hack coming from the USA this time, and they have all the goodies to work with. Canada already looked out of breath by that point in the fight, and the USA just mowed them down with superior ultimate usage. In overtime, they will get that second checkpoint, and they're far from done.
A minute and 29 to go through this last phase of the map, though. It's going to be pretty tough. I know. The defense for Rialto currently, I would say definitely the favorite team. One of the more defensive maps we have. You know, pushing inside here could be very difficult as Agility's hacked up, can't use any of his abilities there, so that's why you see him awkwardly standing in the corner.
Space there unintentionally actually revealing Shawfall when he charged in there, which would have made it harder for him to have the impact he was looking for in that fight. Couple of kills, but again, Canada spawn so close, they can stream out, they can block line of sight with the pillars as they get out of spawn here. But that Transcendence, well, it just keeps them alive, really. They need to get some kills at Sinatra. That's what they were looking for.
And the payload wasn't moving there because Moth gets hacked by Surefour, and they just have a little bit of a 1v1 on the cart. So you get that one kill, you prevent any payload progress. Pretty fortunate there for Canada as they move off of Doomfist there. The final stage of the map.
That repair pack, very important. Nice response there from Sinatra. Although if Moth had died there, it would have been bad news indeed. So nano boost for Canada here. There's going to be an EMP for sure for. And hydration. XQC, look at him on that right-hand side here, ready to respond in the back line. If he needs to, Shawfall down. Canada needed him up. They needed that EMP, and now, yes, the US are going to try and press the advantage, of course. Primal Rage for Moomer if he needs to try and close off this gap to Canada. But look at the entirety of the Canucks, they just have to back away, give a bit of space. Oh man, that's not what they wanted to happen at all. Both Sombras now.
EMP self-destruct in this close hallway for Canada.
Yep.
There's the,
he called it straight over the top. EMP's onto the back line of both teams, but neither ultimate's really yielding any kills at this stage. Moomer though takes 2 for himself. The king of the jungle might just be this man. XQC looking dejected in the corner as another of his teammates is taken out, and that's 4 for Moomer. The man is on a riot. They can't slow him down, and now he gets himself a nano boost. It's like a gift. It's an incentive, positive reinforcement for Moomer. Good on you, mate. Keep going for the kills, they say. And the US get home. It looks so rough multiple times on this map. But Moomer ends with 10 final blows. The next closest player on the US with Sinatra and Hydration was 6 apiece.
And I wonder if this is the clip. So yeah, Surefour actually gets the hack off onto Space. But while that is happening, Hydration connects with the hack onto Surefour there. So that's why he was not able to use the translocator to get out at that moment in time. So the Rialto, like I mentioned, very defensive favored. Really difficult to finish the map. You saw how much Team USA struggled doing it. It barely got point A, barely got point B, ended up completing the map in overtime. So see if Canada can do any better.
It's tough for sure for there, obviously. Dying initially when his ultimate was so close to being ready, which meant that Hydration was able to be first. That didn't really make a huge difference. Both teams EMP'd one another's backlines. The US tried to follow up, of course, with that self-destruct. You called it as it came in, but that last room, the reason why you say it's so good for defenders, so many parts of this map, is they actually, defenders get high ground. And also, in that particular room, it's super easy to dodge things like self-destruct. There's pillars, there's, floor-to-ceiling infrastructure that protects you. But if you're the USA, you're feeling very good now. You need to put Canada to a halt. You need to not let them get a snowball going.
So looking at the compositions at the start, USA on defense, they'll run Doomfist Pharah, which means you have the Pharah, you want to run Mercy here. So Raucus has been on point with the Ana though in this series. Really 6 sleep darts, big biotic grenades keeping everybody up. So he can do enough on the other players that you can run the Mercy and just have it pocket hydration. I think I do worry though, it's like you have Sinatra who could, if he gets hacked, he can't really do much, right? You can hack Space here. And agilities, you don't have like a Brigitte or somebody to really kind of keep him in check playing Genji.
Raucus has 8 enemies slept. Banny has 6. Sure for now. I love that. The early warning system there. Moomer's like, I bet you he's just about to walk up. It's almost like it's timed. Shawford just sheepishly takes a couple steps back and then returns to his shot. Look at that, 35% of his ult, no worries. easy EMP charge.
It also forces Moth to pocket hit him for a little bit, so that takes away all the healing from Hydration. Hydration, you mentioned Surefour up, with his ultimate charge, Hydration putting down a lot of damage in the choke now.
I mean, that's what you want, right? You want to tax Moth so that you can't keep Hydration like 100% pocketed, such that, I don't know, maybe Banny could, get some damage on him. Maybe finish him off, but... Oh, no, Sinatra, please!
Oh, no, wait.
Okay, yeah, we saw that.
His face, he rubbed his hands. He's like, yeah, my job's done.
Oh, yeah.
I got one. I'm good.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, I can't hear you guys. Lag, I can't hear you.
Oh, dude, my frames, man. Yeah.
Man. He'll be back pretty quickly, Doomfist. Obviously, so mobile that he's already returned to the fray. And Hydration, he might have a payload to drop here. Again, looking for a good opportunity to use a barrage. Up close, it's so dangerous. He wants agilities. He wants the Genji man. Almost down. Frustrating for Hydration, not able to connect at that range, but...
This also potentially forces Canada, like I mentioned earlier. Like, if you're having difficulties with Afara, Agility is not really known for his hit scan play. Plays a lot of the projectile heroes. You need Surefour to switch off of this Sombra, but your Sombra's been so essential to what you've been trying to do as a team.
Oh,
EMP canceled.
Yeah, got booped away. No chance to use that one. He'd be mad. Agility somehow gets up to Hydration in the sky. Polly, what a cracker he says! How about a Dragon Blade? Raucous barely alive. Agility's in a similar position. Nice little dive in there as well from XQC, creating extra space, allowing Canada continue to press forward. And this is okay for them. Well, I'm going to ask for a fly swatter. They work on bigger insects as well, I guess. XQC.
He wants that.
Just backhanded him. But you see, he's popping off constantly, right? Like, he's just talking, like, when he's killing you, when he gets a player, he's talking to the corpse, like, yeah, you know who it is.
It's the little things when you watch XQC and Muma play as Winston players, right? Like, when he jumps on a Raucous, a lot of players will just jump straight at him and try and finish off the kill, but he jumps behind him and turns to... It forces Raucous away from his teammates, right? With the impact of Winston's elite, he ends up going the opposite way. It's just little things like that help Winston secure those final kills. Use a self-destruct there, just try and clear it out, create some space.
Yeah, I mean, Crimzo uses the curvature of the bridge there to actually make sure that he's out of line of sight of that self-destruct. But nice dive response. Hydration, though, has his wings clipped for the time being. Fortunately for him, his compatriot Sinatra's doing a bit of work, but now it's Doom v Doom action. Raucous is down. Gillies is missing for Canada. Let's see what we can do here. Movers over on the payload. So Surefour, okay, Canada pretty much just trying to get on this payload and die if they have to. But XQC force failed that biting grenade, and Hydration's got room to work with. He tried to tax out the defense matrix, but it wasn't enough. Surefour from long range, and Banny got rid of the Farah. Canada, what a struggle.
They are able to start the payload moving, though, as the hack on Raucous has to back away here.
Oh, no, you cannot let that happen.
No. That's going to be a lot of progress on the payload. You may have to try and fight this without Raucous if you have any hope.
Moth has to go back and get him. Raucous just came out of the closest spawn, which was obviously good for the US. Getting killed immediately sends him to the back spawn. Not what you like to see. Agilities, yeah, just trying to stay hidden where he can set up a big punch. And, well, yeah, Muma, he can't do anything, mate. Sorry, you're just going to have to wait. Meteor strike, Moth gets caught, he gets two! Both supports from Agilities. You cannot ask for much more than that. Taking down half of the US team, single-handed, well, I guess he's got two hands, one hand and a fist. And yeah, the rest of Canada follow up pretty comfortably. I think you're starting to sweat a little bit if you're the US.
Yeah, it looks like they gave the nano boost onto the baby diva coming back.
All planned, boys. Look at that. Got his mech back real quick, didn't he, Matt?
Yeah, so Sinatra switches off of Doomfist. You'll get a Brigade in here. Agilities has gone crazy on his Doomfist, so you need something to come in here to stop this.
EMP now being used, and only Muma actually being affected by it, but credit to Canada that they jump on the target that was hacked up, removing a Winston from the equation instantly. Now the United States, they're just crumbling. Now Canada starting to lean into them a little bit more, and they get that second checkpoint. Great team fight from Note there, follows up a kill with a self-destruct.
And you know, the Doomfist Winston combination, when these fights start to get crazy, it allows Surefour to get hacks off like that, where he hacks space basically in the middle of the fight, right after they pick off Muma, and he can't really do anything about it.
Wow, Agility's going around the world there. Okay, a bit of aggression from the US, and they might have identified that Canada are a little bit out of sync right now, and Numa's able to find Shawful with the primal range. Oh, Raucus, no! He's taken down Agility's, dropped in on top, but Agility thinks twice about trying to dive into the fray here, maybe to pull some bodies back towards him. Take the attention of Sinatra, and you can see he's actually done that. Agility's pulls back the entirety of the USA team, and comes out and stays alive.
I also think they were a little bit scared to go in there and challenge Agilities because you had XQC come through with Primal Rage.
Crimzo?
EMP, Crimzo
How did
able
he
to
get
get
that
off a
Transcendence?
Transcendence.
He must have been out of line of sight there. Fantastic response from him. Unfortunately, it's just not enough for Canada to stay around in this fight. Banny opts to preserve that nano boost as he gets chased on out. Very nicely done from Crimzo, though. I suppose he's had plenty of experience trying to avoid angry Sombras.
Nano boost for Team USA will probably come out a little bit earlier in this fight. Probably see it come out from Canada too. Maybe they use the nano on XQC to engage into an EMP here.
All right, nano boost there on Mooma. They send him in towards the back line. He slapped immediately. Oh, good night, sweet prince. Note as well, it's a slumber party. But Moom is the one in enemy territory right now. Canada have a chance to regroup and push forward, and USA are down to 5 players. And there's an EMP for Shawful, and a nano boost for Banny. And Moth is down.
But because of this Primal Rage, goes in a little bit too deep, but they don't have to use an EMP there to push on forward through that. You can save this EMP for when that sound barrier comes through. And you also hold on to your nano boost and get a Transcendence.
Oh,
it's okay if you're Canada and you lose this fight. You just need to finish it before the clock. An EMP comes through there.
Credit to the USA, though. Credit to the USA, Matt. They're using the EMP, but nothing else. They've got some very important ultimates still up their sleeve, especially that sound barrier. And their space just cleaning up and staggering a little bit more. That's frustrating for Canada. They are running out of time.
The cart's moving.
Oh, yep. It was Shawful. Just a little bit, though. Very vigilant with the US team to make sure he didn't get further than he was allowed to. But we're approaching that final fight, ladies and gentlemen. If this fight goes too long, there won't be another one. Canada looks like they know that too. They're trying to group up. Mooma is actually behind. He is behind Canada. They're giving him the nano boost now. They forced the Transcendence out of him. Then they have to use the EMP. Canada digging very deep just to get to the payload, but they're down a player already. Make it 2-4 up for Canada now. And Batty gets a quick sleep on Mooma, but it's going to take more than that. Mooma's stunned, booped up, knocked away. Still alive though, as XQC is down. And there is only one monkey to rule the jungle now. The United States of America will take the series. It's a stored defense on Rialto. This is our home, this is our city, this is our map.
Mooma does get slept in the back line, but they ended up waking him up there, and then he's able to use the Primal Rage, knock away a few more players, but Space goes 47 limbs, 12 final blows, only 3 deaths there on Rialto. You know, there's a reason why everyone was so hyped during the Overwatch League season. Get to see Space play, get to see Sinatra play, 2 of the best young players we have in Overwatch overall, regardless of the country. It's great to see them here on the main stage. I think Canada too. They played them very tough during this. I expect to see both these teams go far at BlizzCon.
Yeah, Matt, this felt like an Overwatch League stage final to me. You know what I mean? It had that same level of hype, that same level of expectation going in, that same, you know, similarity and relative skill there. We see Banny versus Raucus on the same role is always so fun. Of course, the Diva battle for me was very, very important. Note and Space continue to solidify their strength. Yes, Kaki, you do have to wear that flag. United States very, very pleased, of course. And now this sets them towards BlizzCon with a great trajectory, not only just for the US feeling good, but NA in general is going to have a strong presence at BlizzCon.
Yeah, I mean, now these two teams can you know, work some of their things out, strategize, you know, watch some of the other World Cup stuff, the Zero rubbing it in. It's good to see, you know, both coaches of the Dallas Fuel represent these teams, right? So I think Jane's going to take it. Jane's going to
wear it, Jane! Wear it! Yeah, you can't hide your face either, bro, sorry.
It's all good fun.
Yeah, all's fair, all's fair. These two teams obviously didn't get a chance to practice with each other as well, but let's go down to the floor with Packard and the victorious Team USA.
Everybody give it up for Raucus and Team USA. The Blizzard Arena was on the edge of their seats. They were all chanting USA at the end, but you're no stranger to this pressure. You've been doing it throughout the Overwatch League, and you did it in 2017 with this squad. How does it feel to be moving on to BlizzCon once again?
You know what? It feels so good because my goal personally is I want to beat South Korea. That's all I want to do. I want to win the I want to win the World Cup.
I love it, baby. Give it up for that answer. That's right. Last year, you matched up against Korea in the round of 8. Fantastic series there, but it was Korea moving on and eventually taking gold. This time around, you've got a retooled team. You got Muma, who you played with. You played against Bonnie to steal this #1 spot. How does this year's World Cup team for USA compare to last year?
I feel, to be honest, I feel like it's a bit stronger. I feel that we have more experience against the Eastern teams, and that was like a huge problem we had last year. Compared to skill-wise, I think we're all equal, and I think that, you know, we're going to give every single team an insane run for their money, and I think we'll win this year.
I was going to ask you, do you think you can do it? He just answered it right there. One more time, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Raucus and Team USA. Amazing performance across the board. Let's send it back to our casters for their thoughts.